Today, I want to share with you some sort of kind of hard to hear truths about this new friend we all met last year, Rona.
So be the change. And if you don't want to be the change, you're not ready to be the change, then stop complaining.
Okay. Hello, dear listeners. It is I, Allie Banks, here again with Be the Change or Stop Complaining, your weekly dose of health podcast with a sprinkle of me. So, if you heard last week's episode, you know that I was sincerely struggling with whether or not to talk about macros this week or to talk about something else. Fortunately, and also unfortunately, we're not going to talk about macros today. Today, I want to share with you some sort of kind of hard to hear truths about this new friend we all met last year, Rona. Good old fucking Rona. Closed down all of our bars, all of our restaurants, ruined our economy, and on a much more serious note, took many of our loved ones from us. Rona, COVID-19. We all know it. I'm sure we are all very thankful and hopeful that in the near future, Rona will be gone, with the new vaccine coming out. But there are a couple of lessons I think a lot of us missed during this time, last year in 2020. So I want to bring some attention to them. If your feathers get ruffled, I apologize in advance, but I am going to say it anyways. Keep in mind as well, I'm not talking about COVID from a political standpoint. I am talking about COVID from a health standpoint. So don't read too much into it. We're only talking about the facts here, okay? So number one, we have to face the possibility that COVID might not be going away forever. We've already heard talk of other variants in the UK. I think there was one that arose from the existing strain in the US. I'm sure there are probably more, but the point is COVID may very well be a new flu that we have to consider yearly or seasonally or whatever. So if COVID isn't going away for good, how do we ensure that we can be safe? Which brings me to lesson number 2, the risk factors associated with COVID. I'm going to be reading off of this article written by a dude way smarter than me named Charles Benz. I am going to skip some of them because there's a lot of them, but you'll see by the end what the point is that I'm trying to make based off of the ones that I choose to talk about here today, okay? So very high risk factors. You got your low vitamin D levels, right? You got cancer, you got age over 65 years. Those are things that we've already the age over 65 years, obviously we've heard about. The immunocompromised, we've heard about that. So high risk factors being chronic illness, that's that. Moderate risk factors being pre-disease conditions. Pre-disease conditions are going to be like your high blood pressure, your high cholesterol, your pre-diabetes, early onset dementia, obesity. Those are pre-disease conditions. Those are risk factors for COVID. Immune system challenges, like what I just talked about, those diseases that make your immune system compromised. That's a risk factor for COVID. Dietary factors. High sugar intake is a serious dietary factor. Reason being, when you have high sugar intake, that sugar competes with vitamin C to get into your white blood cells, right? Okay, follow along. I'm going to try to say it very simply. So there's sugar and there's vitamin C. Your body wants the vitamin C, but the sugar gets in the way of the vitamin C getting into your body and doing what it needs to do. So when you have high sugar intake, you have low vitamin C intake, which makes your immune system fucked up, okay? And then other risk factors that we have, another dietary factor, so that's going to be your high consumption of red meat, high consumption of dairy, fried food, processed food, and low consumption of vegetables and fruits. This is not entirely your fault, but we know here in America, we got fast food on every corner. I don't think anybody orders fruits and vegetables from a fast food place. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, but feel free. So these are the problems that we face in America. And then we have lifestyle factors, tobacco use, alcohol use. That's everywhere. Don't get me wrong, it's not just America, but that's another factor that contributes to the risk of getting COVID. Overweight and obesity, that promotes inflammation in your body. It compromises your immune system, another risk factor. Stress levels as well. Stress levels are a risk factor for COVID. They can deplete your vitamin B levels, which fucks with your cellular health on that very, very micro scale, which, in turn can result in a macro problem. COVID, Rona, okay? And then lack of nutritional supplements is also a risk factor for COVID. Without extra supplements, typically in America, we're not getting all the vitamins that we need. And that is going to be a whole other episode because I have so much to say about that, the way that we process our food, the regulations put in place by the FDA. Ooh, really, really riles me up. We'll talk about it later, okay? But so with all of these risk factors, keep those in mind, okay? Put them to the side for a second. This is no longer smart guy talking. This is Allie talking. 94 million cases of COVID have been reported worldwide, okay? Out of those 94 million, roughly 23 million were in the US. That's a quarter of all COVID cases worldwide in the United States. We have more COVID cases than anywhere else in the fucking world. India doesn't even have as much as we do, and they have like 1.3 billion people living there. That's like 3 times the population of the United States. So, and I know that America, we in America think that we live in the greatest country in the world, but as a matter of fact, there's a scoreboard. So there's this thing called the Human Development Index. It was created by the UN, and it's used to rank countries based on the key factors of human development, which, quote from the UN here, what they deem the key factors of human development are a long and healthy life, being knowledgeable, and having a decent standard of living. Okay, so that's what the Human Development Index is, all right? Do you know where America ranks on the Human Development Index? 17th. We're 17th on the Human Development Index. So, no, in the most literal sense possible, we are not the greatest country in the world. There's a fucking scoreboard that says so. And the reason we have the most cases is because America is significantly less healthy than other developed countries. And the biggest reason for this is our poor nutrition. Our poor nutrition is the biggest factor that contributes to our weak immune systems, which equals higher risk of infection from COVID-19. COVID has a 0.1% fatality rate. 0.1%. That's it. This is another literal quote. This one's from the CDC's website. For 6% of deaths, COVID was the only cause mentioned. So 6% of all COVID cases, COVID was the only cause mentioned for the deaths. For deaths with conditions or causes in addition to COVID-19, on average, there were 2.9 additional conditions or causes per death. So what does that mean? That means that COVID isn't killing people because it's an extremely deadly virus. It's killing people because they were unhealthy to begin with. So among other reasons, our terrible dietary behaviors are why we in America have high rates of COVID and high rates of chronic disease in general. But guys, this is actually good news. This is good news because this is something that we can change. The next little bit of information comes from that same article by that same smart dude at the beginning. So the main things that we can do to strengthen our immune systems are eating, a better diet, avoiding stress, avoiding sugar, sleeping well, exercising, and taking extra supplements to boost your immunity. Because again, we don't get all the nutrients that we need from the foods that we eat because of the way that we process our food in America. Stay tuned for that fucking episode. That's going to be a real fun one. But all of these things, avoid stress, avoid sugar, sleep well, exercise. What do all of these sound like to you? To me, it sounds like give a shit about your body. Care about your body. Stop treating your health like it's an option. It's not an option. It is devastating that anyone's life had to be lost over something so preventable. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. Those of you who lost someone to COVID due to any of the risk factors listed above, Any of them. Old age, cancer, chronic illness, any of them. I am truly sorry for your loss. Some of them weren't preventable, but a lot of them were, and a lot of them still are. And that's what I'm trying to get across here. If COVID isn't going away forever, or if we ever get hit with another pandemic, which knock on wood, but also we are seeing that that's entirely possible, then we got to start taking our health seriously. So, in the spirit of being your change, here's what I got for you. Relax. Stress isn't good for you. Take a chill pill, okay? Ease up on the booze and the tobacco. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying do less. Or don't more. Don't more, do less. I think that means the same thing. Skip the Mickey D's. Cut down on the sugar and the takeout. Start looking at food and thinking, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to help my body get what it needs? Sleep. Try for 7 hours minimum. Think of it as 7 hours less that you have to deal with bullshit. Take a fucking walk. Any exercise is good exercise. Whatever you like doing for exercise, do that. It could be a sport. It could be a class. It could be lifting weights if you're into that. Or just going on a walk with your dog. We talked about that in the first episode. Choose something that you enjoy. It's not difficult. Buy some vitamins and actually take them instead of letting them expire in your cupboard. Get some chewable vitamin C's. They're delicious. You'll remember because you're looking forward to this, sweet little treat that you get to have in the morning. Again, be your change. What is good for your body? Give your body what it needs. Be nice to your body. Be kind to your body. Care about yourself. Care about your health. That's really what it comes down to. So that's what I got today. I know it's kind of a broken record and we're all tired of talking about Rona. I apologize, but I think that we've been talking about Rona in the sense of, do you believe in the masks or do you not believe in the masks? Are you taking the vaccine or are you not taking the vaccine? Is Biden going to be president or is Trump going to be? It's gotten so politicized. Is that the word, I think? Politicized. That we're kind of forgetting about the part where we look at how dramatically this pandemic has affected the United States compared to the rest of the world. We're not looking at it from a health perspective. We're not looking at what does America do that's different from the rest of the world and how has it made it so that we have the most COVID cases, that we're getting hit the hardest by this pandemic. It's because of the way that we treat our health. We need a whole mindset shift on health, on all of this. Okay, so thank you for listening. Tune in next week for a little more upbeat of a topic, okay? Macros, baby, what the fuck are they and why should you care? The more we get into this podcast, the healthier you will be. You're going to educate yourself. You're going to learn all of the ways and the tricks and the secrets that no one wants to fucking tell you. I'm going to tell you all of it. And we're all going to get healthier together. It's going to be fucking awesome. Okay, I'll stop talking now. We'll see you next week.